Hey guys, and welcome to our AMA session this Wednesday. As you know, it has been a while since we had the last AMA, so therefore it feels good to be back again to answer your questions. So this time what we have done is we have picked from your most favorite questions from all of our social media channels, the ones which we'll answer during this session. And of course, I will also give you an update, what we are currently working on, what are the next steps at savedroid, new features we're currently working on, what are the biggest challenges currently and also going forward. So to hopefully make this as informative for you guys as possible so that you can learn something new that is not too boring. And of course, we also want to use this session to say thank you to you guys for your great support until here, and of course also for the further future. Now, before we get started, one category which I want to introduce in this AMA session is the fan art. As you know, we have quite a lot of bounty programs and campaigns running. One of them is actually producing fan art, so art pieces which are tailor-made by you guys for savedroid, and then basically conveying the message throughout the community, spreading the word. And we have been submitted with a huge lot of different fan art pieces, and therefore I'm really happy to share with you some of these pieces which we have collected, which the team has selected, which the team really also liked. And you can also see them in our social media channel. So then, firstly, there is this one. This is very cool, I must say, actually my favorite one. It's a real cartoon which someone has produced, which actually is Batman, so that's really cool. So savedroid here comes in as the hero, helping out with the challenge of dealing with the complex world of cryptocurrency. So this is a really cool one. If you want to see it in full detail, so I only have the printed out version here, but I can promise you this is a really must see. So you can check this also on our social media channels. Go for this one. Then of course we have also other pieces like this one here showing savedroid as the centered brain of dealing with your cryptocurrencies, also a very nice one. Then of course also how can you actually use savedroid in order to save in crypto, so pointing out differences which we versus a bank versus a classical piggy bank actually have, so why it's worthwhile using savedroid. Thanks also for this one. Then we have a nice hand-drawn one again, where this is actually about the role of the savedroid token in the crypto world. Also highly appreciated, actually a really nice one. Savedroid riding on a wave, and you can also see next to it the Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's a really cool one. And then we have some nice pictures here about basically how savedroid helps the user here, actually reducing your cost, getting off burdens from you, and basically enabling financial freedom. And of course also in this dimension here that a good project takes of course some time to mature and to really come to the aim you are striving for. So this is also a really nice one. Again, as I said, you can all see these pieces in our social media channels. We also have some nice designs here with a rocket showing that savedroid is actually offering a broad variety of different currencies which you can use for your crypto savings. So that's also a really nice one. Again, some hand drawing where the sun, of course, this cannot be missed in a crypto session. Something with a rocket where the savedroid logo is on, also very nice one. I personally like this one. Again, we have one with the piggy bank here at the laptop. And by the way, there was also one funny one. I don't have it printed out here, but actually the question was asked, where does the new savedroid logo, which you can see here, actually derive from? And then one guy's idea was, okay, actually it could be the nose of the pig. So that's actually, no, it's not. The new savedroid logo is actually the two Ds are meant to be the eyes of the droid. Nevertheless, actually a very cool idea. And there's also a content link to the piggy bank. And then we have this one guy here. He has a crazy hobby. So he is driving the motorbike at a diving site and swimming with the fish, or biking with the fish, better to speak. So that was also a really cool one. I like this one. And of course, if you spend your time and create these art pieces, what you should always do is you should, of course, also claim your bounty. And therefore, I just want to also take this opportunity to basically, because this was also a very nice art piece, which was done from also a fan which we had. I think it was on Telegram. You can see here it's kind of a fake photo with myself, but unfortunately nobody actually claimed the fan art bounty for this one. So I of course want to motivate you guys. So whoever has created this nice art piece here, which I'm proudly now presenting in this AMA session, please feel free to claim the bounty, because otherwise all the spent work didn't pay off for you. So I really like it. Thanks for the effort putting into this one. And of course, please do claim your bounty. So that was now the first part of this AMA, saying thank you also to the community for the big participation already in our bounty programs, all the nice fan art pieces. I personally always appreciate having a look at this, also sharing it on our social media channels, because this really shows that people are motivated in order to support the project, which I think for us is really the key to success in the future. And if you are now already talking about people supporting us, I also do know that probably some of our hardcore followers here will also be part of the session. So I will just take a minute to also personally welcome you guys. I think we for sure gonna have Mr. Axel Hellinger here also now watching this AMA. Thanks for joining and thanks for spending this extra effort. Highly appreciated that you put so much energy in our project. I think this is actually the highest compliment one can receive, that someone is really making our project the central focal point of his individual life. So thanks a lot, therefore, Hellinger, highly appreciated. But I think we also probably have some other guests watching here, maybe Miss Otto, maybe also other guys who are frequent visitors in our Telegram group. So therefore, again, I think it's always for us, if I reflect back and then I also see how the support is going in all the channels, that for me personally, the biggest motivation is always if I can see that people are actually putting their efforts into savedroid and are actually investing time up on savedroid. And I think that is really helpful for us. It shows high appreciation, and I think it's actually the biggest goal which we can achieve, personally reaching people and then inspiring these people to put in personal efforts. And therefore, of course, I do want to say explicitly thank you. So therefore, again, a big thanks, Mr. Hellinger, a big thanks also, Ms. Otto, for spending the time with us, for putting so much effort into our project. Highly appreciated. Now, to come to the official part and to provide some updates for you guys. What has changed inside the application, right? And I think you already are aware that we have launched on our Medium a regular update now on new product features. But of course, not everybody is reading this, so I'm really happy to share with you not only what has been done until now, but also then in the next minutes, giving you an outlook on new features which are there, right? And then what we want to build in the future. So if you now just look to what has happened in the recent weeks, what has been established is a pre-selection of wishes and smooths. So we had the user feedback that users actually do wish to have a much faster ability to set up a new wish, to create a new smooth, right? So, you know, with savedroid, you're actually using a smooth, a smart saving rule in order to save up for your wish. So say the next summer vacation. And inside our application, typically what you do is you build your own wish, you build your own smooth, but that takes a few process steps. And now the feedback which we had and which we now already integrated into the app is it would be cool if there would be a list of the most relevant wishes, the most relevant smooths from which I could just pre-select with one click. And that has now been also implemented in the application, so in order to improve further the user experience. So this was one thing. The next thing is we also upgraded new features in the app regarding the smooths. So there are now more new smooths in the section of the Twitter smooths. So whenever, if you are a football fan and if you're maybe a fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, you can now actually save some money if Ronaldo tweets. And if you're more on the cooking side or you like the documentary of Gordon Ramsay, then also he has been added. For the music fans, Rihanna has been added. So I think there is now much more variety. If you are a fanboy, a fangirl of one of these guys, please feel free to add the new Twitter smooths for those, and you can then save even more money. So that's the next new feature which has been implemented. Also, And that was also based on user feedback. We have now integrated offline accessibility to our application. So in the past, it has been the case that you always need to have a standing internet connection in order to retrieve your data. Now what we have done is actually that the data is being saved on the phone so that you can also in the offline mode check the current balance, at least the last safe balance when you had a connection to the internet of your crypto savings and of your wishes and smooth. So that has also been integrated into the application to give you more accessibility to the application. Again, also thanks for user feedback in this case. And what we have added, and I think that's also a very important feature, and you can expect much more from that in the future. So the goal for this is to further improve, to even further improve the user experience of the app and the security features. We have partnered with, on the one hand side, Test.io. Test.io is a huge and well-known crowd testing platform and portal around the world. So how it works is basically you submit your application and then they have a testing crowd behind. So these testers do test the single features of your app and report back bugs. Then we can even be faster in fixing these bugs and thereby even further and much faster in the future improve the user experience. And similarly with HackerOne, so this is now focused on IT security. So we want to further improve this. As you know, IT security is always a continuous process. Hackers get smarter, so we also need to get smarter, and that's why we are collaborating with HackerOne. And the deal here is that their friendly hackers are testing our application on a very intense basis for security issues, and if one is detected, then basically it's reported to us and we can fix it. And again, here, of course, the testers will receive a bounty payment for helping us out in this regard. So I think that's also two cool updates, the partnership with HackerOne, the partnership with Test.io, in order to further improve user experience and app security. This has already been done right now. I think that's now already the perfect link over to the Q&A, to the questions which we have collected, because the first question with which I want to start off with is basically what have been the biggest challenges so far in 2019, what are you guys currently working on, and now then looking forward to 2020, what will be the big topics really driving the next year for you, right? And if I look to this year, what I must say honestly, it's a lot about regulation, right? So we do have basically in Germany the registration as a PSD2 service provider. As the more finance nerdy ones of you may know, this year the PSD2 regulation, which has been a European initiative, has been locally implemented also in Germany. It's just now happening these days. So on this one, of course, we have been registering ourselves with the BaFin, the German Financial Authority, and basically achieved this registration. Then secondly, we have also for the crypto application, as you guys know, this is offered by the Liechtenstein entity, have been registered successfully with the FMA, the local financial market authority, as a exchange office. So this has been the second regulatory topic. And then there is the third one. As you guys already know, we are currently working on acquiring a payment institution license in Luxembourg with the local regulator. And this process is ongoing. We are already in a very advanced stage. So therefore, the big topic of this year is really getting registered, getting licensed, and dealing with regulators in all the countries which are relevant for us. So that is a big topic which, of course, consumed a lot of resources, especially on the business side, on the tech side, as you have already heard, and as I will also explain even more in the next questions. We have invested all our efforts in developing further the application, making the application even much more stable, improving the user experience, improving the security. So as you can see, we are working on both fronts, business and in app features and app development. In the business side, the topic of this year is really regulation. And then if we look to the next year, it's basically then, say, the fruits of the business approach which we had in order to achieve all these regulations, that we can then, once we receive the license in Luxembourg, create the next level of our product, and that will be the significant upgrade in the savedroid world. So what you are currently used to as having two separate applications, basically the one only being able to deal with fiat money, the other one only being able to deal with crypto money, we're going to bring these two worlds together in just one application, and that's going to be the next huge milestone, and thereby uniting the two worlds and preparing ourselves for a multi-currency future, right? And to give you some explanation behind why do we believe that this is important, right? We have been seeing just in the recent months a step which I would say nobody in the crypto industry would have expected, at least not over the last years. And actually, if you also read the blogs of the hardcore crypto anarchos, let me call them like that, you will see that they are not happy about this development. But what we see is big corporations now stepping into the field of cryptocurrencies, right? So Facebook and their partners are now working on Libra coin. Then the whole industry is now discussing when will Amazon come up with an own coin. It's not so much anymore the question, will they, but when will they? And I think what we can see now is, and it's very different from the hype which we had end of 2017, now real life use cases get implemented in the crypto world by multi-billion global corporations, right? And of course, this is not in the best interest of the original founders of cryptocurrencies, because the founders had in mind to invent this technology in order to become less dependent of centralized organizations, not only governmental institutions, but also, of course, of multi-billion corporations. But now, actually, the technology is being twisted, so multi-billion corporations are adopting it. But I think one should be very open-minded for this development. Why, you are asking? Because for one single reason. Of course, in the sense of the founders of Bitcoin cryptocurrencies, they said, look, the decentralized organization is actually highly trustworthy, right? This is actually in order to mitigate the trust shortfalls which the official body of the government may have, or which a big corporation may have. On the other hand side, if you now twist this perspective from the techie guy to the average people on the street, if you would go out now and ask someone, do you know what the Bitcoin Foundation is and who is actually standing behind Ethereum, this is a black box for the majority of the population. And unless this does not change and there is this high level of anonymity, no one can create trust. Therefore, and I think that's the good thing, if now these big corporations like Facebook, Amazon are stepping in, they bring billions of users. And these billions of users do trust these corporations. So what these corporations essentially solve is not only bringing a real life use case for cryptos to the table, but secondly gaining and already having the relevant trust in order to convert their users to crypto users going forward. And now just think one step further. If we say Facebook got 2.7 billion users, only 10% of those would convert. You have overnight like 270 million using the cryptocurrency of Libra. And of course, this will then expand, because if this is going to be the central coin you're going to use to send and remit money using WhatsApp to your friends, there's a hard real-life use case, right? And then all of a sudden, you don't need to explain anymore what crypto is, because everybody knows. Crypto for them, for the average user, is now something with which I can use in order to send and receive money to and from my friends. And that's a good thing. I want to have that. But do I want to have cryptocurrency where I don't know the use case and which is given out by a foundation where, for me, this is actually a black box? Probably not, right? Because there is no value add for me. And that, I think, is the key difference. So therefore, we are very optimistic about this development. And that's why we are now bringing together these two worlds, because what will happen out there is that we create a multi-currency world where for the average user it will become a necessity to deal with different currencies. I don't mean different fiat currencies, not like US and Euro, but I mean different currencies in the sense like fiat currency is going to be combined with cryptocurrency. So of course, if you go to the grocery store, you will still settle your bill using the euro. But now if you want to send the money to your friends, you're going to use Libra. And if you want to get a discount buying at Amazon, you need to use the Amazon coin. But if this is now your new financial reality, you will need a user front end which is able, in order to receive these different coins, to inter-exchange these different coins, to store these different coins, and to spend these different coins and currencies. And that's exactly why we need to bring together these two worlds in order to be prepared for this new financial reality. And that's what we're achieving by our regulatory efforts in this year, and what we will then build as the new product. So essentially what is happening, if you take this out of the savedroid, of the current savedroid ecosystem world, we're going to expand the ecosystem significantly by adding the opportunity to also integrate fiat currencies. And that will, of course, also bring a new whole lot of use cases for the savedroid token, which then will also be used to pay off for all the service fees in this new context when dealing with fiat currency. So I think that is really good news. This is the big project for the next year on which we already have started behind the scenes working on in regulatory terms, and we are well on our way in order to deliver this one next year. So this is basically the high-level summary: 2019 regulatory topics, 2020 then the new products combining the world of crypto and fiat, and that is what kept us busy over the last months, and what will keep us busy also over the next months, the most important topics. And now let's break this down, because this has been the second question in the community. What are new app features which I can expect from you guys very soon? And I just want to mention one, because I think that is a very important one, which is already linking us and bringing us a bit towards this new world. We're going to now introduce a manual top-up feature also in our applications, meaning that you don't only need to use smooths in order to save money in crypto, but now what you will be able to do, and not only within the app, but also during the onboarding process already, is to manually top up your savings, right? So whenever you feel like, okay, today is a good point in time to invest some additional 50 euro, some additional 100 euro into crypto, then actually you can just push the button and the transaction will be executed immediately. So we're adding again here more flexibility for the user, new ways in order to fund your savings account. And I think that's already a good link over, just to mention one of the predominantly important features which will be there now over the next weeks. Now, this brings us consistently to the third question, and this one is, how do you guys ensure that you can grow your user base, right? And I think for this one, what I can recommend to you guys, of course, firstly, do check, and you can see the growth in people which we hired already there. Do check our website, and if you scroll down to the team section, or basically you push the menu point about savedroid, you will see whom we have added there, right? And we have, of course, not only added our new CMO, Rod, we have also added Ines, who is heading the community management and community marketing in these regards. And you can see that we have also additional marketing positions which we are currently staffing. So therefore, this is the incremental step, building the team, building a strong team with a track record who can handle the relevant marketing in order to drive user growth. So that has already partially been done and is still ongoing. We're building our team that you can see we are hiring, and please feel free, if you yourself are a marketeer, you feel free to send us in your application, or if you know someone who may be interested in looking for a new job application based out of Frankfurt or based out of Mainz in Germany, then please do refer him or her to us. Highly appreciated if you can help us out on this one. So that's basically step number 0. And then based on this now, the next step is to, of course, understand the users better. That's what we're currently doing. We are doing currently a lot of marketing testing, right? We'll be testing with different target groups. We'll be testing with different claims, different stories, different visuals. So basically what that means is, if you, for example, and I think you all know that if you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, you will see different advertisements, right? And then you may also see very different advertisements from the same company, right? And what the companies usually do is they will use different pictures in order to test which picture you're most likely to click, or the companies may use a video instead of a picture. Then the company may use a different text, right? So the one claim may be savedroid, save easy. The other claim may be savedroid, Bitcoin made easy, and stuff like that. So this is basically then about iterating the message, showing and testing what is working best, and that is what we're currently doing, really getting a more in-depth understanding of the target group and getting a more in-depth understanding of what marketing measures will work. And of course, this is not a question which can be answered once and then will hold true forever, but this is of course in motion, because I guess, again, you know it from yourself, your user behavior of apps which you currently use and which you also used in the past probably changed over time, because your needs changed over time. You grow older, so therefore, again, also your preferences change over time. So therefore, this is a consistent process. This is one of the most important topics which you're currently working on the marketing side, really getting this better understanding. And then at the same time, that's basically element number 3, scaling up the marketing efforts. We are now consistently increasing our marketing spend in order to drive more downloads, in order to drive more users. So that goes hand in hand with the first two steps, which I've already explained. That's a very important topic for us. Marketing is the key priority besides product development. If you would ask me, what are the two most important things we're currently working on in general for the company? Firstly, getting the product accomplished with more features, adding new features to the product, and secondly, of course, increasing the marketing activities and driving the user growth. So these two things are the ones where we're now spending most of our efforts on, and I think that's really important in order to drive the growth which we are aspiring to have for the savedroid application. So that's basically then how you can also see the marketing link to the product, because of course, once we do marketing, what I've just mentioned, getting the team on the ground, testing a lot, at the same time scaling the marketing budget in order to drive the growth numbers. Of course, you also get then feedback to the product development. The one is not independent of the other, right? Because once you do marketing, users will give you feedback if they like your marketing, and also if they have tested out the application, they will give you feedback if they now like the application. So marketing is essentially a direct feedback channel also for product development, which helps us to identify on the go new features which we need to add to the application in order to achieve an even higher customer and user satisfaction. So I think you can see here, this is a very important step. And on this one, we will also, of course, in the future work on spreading our marketing campaigns to different channels. So what we are currently doing is we're using Google, we are using Facebook. I think these also historically have been by far the most relevant channels to acquire users. We are now also using affiliate platforms, which do help us in order to spread the word over different mobile applications where we can do in-app advertising, where we can also have some influencer activities, which is another channel which we have now been starting. So if you look to a classical digital marketing manual and you go through these channels, you will see that are now actively playing exactly in these dimensions, are now slowly growing the budget in order to be very efficient here in both dimensions. On one hand side, making sure that we spend the money efficiently, and on the other hand side, of course, making sure that still we can scale up the user base of our application. I think that's an important point for you guys to understand. This is a sequential process. Marketing doesn't work like today I switch it on, tomorrow I got 10 million users, and I can just use one picture, one claim, and this will be equally attractive to all the users out there. That's not how it works. So you need to test a lot, you need to iterate a lot, you need to change a lot over time, optimize on a consistent basis, and that is what the marketing team is working on. As I said, if you know some good guys looking for some marketing and performance marketing managers, so if you can recommend someone, please do so, and I'm sure there can also be some bounty rewarded to you guys if you can share some good CVs or give us some good intros to your people you know and who may fit with their CV in these fields. So that's about our strategy, how to get the users. And this strategy, and that's the last point which I do want to add here, this strategy is an international one, right? So we are not focusing with our marketing activities on one single country. We are currently running marketing activities in several countries. That's very important because several countries, again, have different preferences in terms of cryptocurrencies, have a different cryptocurrency knowledge already, have a different cryptocurrency sentiment in their country, and therefore we are, of course, testing also in different countries. We are predominantly or exclusively testing at this moment in the English language, so therefore that's also important. So just that you can understand, the marketing is in English, the application is in English. Of course, that makes sense because otherwise it could be tricky that the user reads the advertisement in a different language than the app will be available. So that is, of course, being consistent, and we take care that we can have the highest efficiency there. But just to give you more transparency, of course, marketing is an international project on which we're working. It's not focused to a single country. That's important to mention here. Now, in this context, one other question which came up, and I was reading this more and more also in the community. There were questions, did the ICO, there is the SVD, but what actually is this SVD? right? So people are asking, what is this SVD? And I think the answer is straightforward. And by the way, we have disclosed it during the ICO, before the ICO, after the ICO a lot of times, but I'm really happy to repeat it again. At the end, the SVD is a digital voucher which can only be redeemed for services of savedroid, right? It's not more and it's not less. It's exactly what it is, a digital voucher which can be redeemed only for a service of savedroid. And what does that mean in practice? In practice, that means that the SVD are used in order to be redeemed for the service fees which you incur if you're using the savedroid application, right? So if you're using savedroid, you know that there is a transaction fee. So for every purchase or for every sale of cryptocurrencies that you do, there's a transactional fee. And this fee, for example, there are also other fees, of course, but I'm just now using this one as an example in order to explain to you. So, and this fee is, you can also look at the terms and conditions at our pricing table. This fee is 3%, right? So let's now make the example. If you would now save 100 euros and want to convert them into crypto, it's basically the 100 euro, then the fee would be 3%, right? So the 3% fee of the 100 euro is 3 euro. Now this fee needs to be settled in SVD, not in euro. So what we do is, for your convenience, in your name of the user, we will use this 3 euro and buy SVD from an exchange, and basically then credit this SVD, which we bought for the 3 euro, to your account, and then we will debit exactly this amount of SVDs and basically get the fee in, right? So essentially, and that's exactly then back to the point, the SVD is, again, not more, not less, only a digital voucher to be redeemed for savedroid services. That's what you do. You hand us in the 3 euro fee. The 3 euro fee are used to buy SVD on an exchange. Then these SVD are credited to your account. We now debit these SVDs which you got for the 3 euros from your account. So you're basically setting off our fees versus this SVDs. So that's what I meant. You redeem the SVDs for the service of savedroid, and afterwards the SVDs are burned, right? So that's exactly the process. This process has been outlined in the white paper. This process has been explained in several AMA sessions, but I'm always happy to explain it again. That's the role of SVD, and that's what SVD essentially is. It's nothing else. It's a digital voucher which can only be redeemed for the services of savedroid, nothing else. So I hope that this makes it very clear, and that also my example where I just explained to you how it would work for a purchase of 100 euro in crypto, how the transaction works. You can easily see that this is the only goal which is fulfilled by the SVD token, right? So I hope that this therefore is clear. And then in connection to that, there was the other question which is related basically to the understanding what SVD is, right? Because then we were asked, okay, when will it be possible to buy SVD in the savedroid application, right? And you're already doing it, right? So if you are using savedroid and then you're paying fees, essentially you are buying SVD through our application. The only thing we are doing, that's just for your convenience, we are doing the exchange purchase in your name and for your economic bill. Yeah? So not on our demand. So basically you give us the instruction, please basically settle my bill in SVD, and therefore here are the 3 euros, and therefore please buy for me these SVD, which I then need in order to basically redeem for the services which I have consumed. So the question here, to answer this one, when can one buy SVD in the app? Essentially, you're already buying SVD, but again, SVD is not meant for investment purposes. That's not the purpose. So therefore, classical buying like a crypto is not happening in the app and will also not happen in the app. That's what we already and also and always consistently stated in the white paper. You're buying SVD for a single reason, because you need them as a utility token, as a digital voucher in order to redeem them for the services which you consume. Not more, not less. I do hope that, again, this answers very clearly the questions, what is an SVD and can it be bought inside the application? So that basically to this one. That was, now sorry for the ones who already were aware of this, a bit boring, I must admit, but hopefully now we can come to more exciting topics for the rest. Because for me it was also very clear that we have a clear answer for this one, because it keeps popping up over and over again, and I think it's essential that everybody has the same understanding on this one. That's why I've been stressing it so much. Now, and that is the next level on questions regarding the SVD. Do we have any plans in order to increase the price for the SVD, the trading volume? Again here, and that's in line with what we disclosed in the white paper before the ICO, during the ICO, we don't actively trade SVD, right? Because that's not the purpose of SVD. So therefore, there is no active trading. The plan for the SVD is, and that's written in the white paper, that basically once the number of users of the savedroid application grows, the demand for SVD will immediately grow. Because let's go back to what I just said 5 minutes ago. The SVD is the only way how you can settle your bill inside the savedroid application, because it needs to be redeemed for the fees which you incur. You cannot settle your fees using euro, right? And that makes it very clear the plan for the SVD, being 100% consistent with all of our communication during the ICO and in the white paper, is that the more users we have, the higher the demand for the SVD will be, because it's the only way in order to pay our fees to redeem the SVD for the services which you have consumed as a digital voucher. So meaning if we have today 5,000 users, if we have tomorrow 10,000 users, and all the users have the same behavior, so let's say on average every user is saving on a monthly basis 100 euro in crypto. So if the number of users doubles, then the demand for SVD will also double, right? Because now not only 5,000 users are demanding SVD in order to redeem them versus their fees, but 10,000 users will demand SVD in order to redeem them as a digital voucher for the savedroid fees. So that makes it very clear, and that's the plan. This plan was there from minute number one, from second number one actually, and has not been changed until now, and will also not be changed in the future. We've been very consistent actually about this one. But again, also to make this clear, we don't actively trade our token. Unlike other companies in the crypto market, I know that there are many guys who are doing that, but this has been heavily criticized on the market. We said from the first place we are not doing this, and that's also how you can see that the trading volume of the SVD is currently still on the lower bounds as compared to other tokens, but on the other tokens, what you can always read in all the blogs, a lot of wash trading going on. We are not doing this, right? I think that's the key difference. So therefore, and we also have no intentions of doing that in the future, just to be very precise here, and hopefully also give you a clear outlook in this dimensions. Now, a question which I personally liked a lot. How can I, as a community member, support savedroid on the way going forward? And that, I think, perfectly links back to what we discussed at the beginning, where we started all off with the fan art pieces, which you've seen, right? And of course, you can support the project, you can support our application by spreading the word, right? We are only a startup. We do spend in marketing, that's what I explained. But our best marketeers is actually you guys now watching this AMA. Because you are convinced that this application is a good product. And if you can use this conviction in order to spread the word to your friends, to other users in other communities, this will tremendously help us in order to increase the number of users. So of course, that's basically, if you ask me, how can you help? My answer is, please do spread the word. Do spread the word in online communities, when you meet your friends, in discussions, wherever you may take place. If you are participating in events, introduce the savedroid application. That is how you can help. And of course, we are not asking for your help for free. As you know, we do have the running bounty program, and the bounty program can also be seen inside our savedroid application, right? So you can pick your favorite bounty. There is a huge variety of different bounties. We have social media, which I think is very important in order to make this happen, to spread the word and to grow the number of users. But for example, we also have the bug bounty. The bug bounty essentially helps us in the same direction as already mentioned, our partnership with Test.io. It's about the bounty for the techies out there, identifying bugs, reporting them back to us, receiving a bounty, and helping us as a community in order to further improve the user experience of the application. So if you just go into the bounty section inside the application, I think we can also post here in the discussion where you can exactly find it in the application, that you don't need to search for long, and check there what's your favorite bounty. Please participate in the bounty, help us spreading the word, and I think therefore the community is extremely important for us. Therefore, I think here, please do help us. We're very grateful for this help, and that's the only way being successful together going forward. That's what I've been always saying. If you remember, maybe you've also seen the old AMA sessions before, during, and after the ICO. I've always been saying the community will be key to the success of this project, because at the end of the day, a company can only grow if there are multipliers spreading the word in the big world. And this can be your role, and you can be rewarded for doing that by participating in our bounty program. So please, if you feel that you want to support the project, just do it. Look inside the bounty program, pick your favorite bounty, and go for it. And as you saw, I'm happy for every contribution. Also pictures, making fun out of myself. I don't have any personal issues with that. Just be creative and do claim your bounty. I think that will help spreading the word, and that's the best what everybody can contribute to this project. Now, last but not least, and that goes hand in hand with what we have just discussed, because the question, of course, which is the next one to this one, how can we support, is actually how, and I've been asked this question in my person, how did you actually convince your best friend in order to use the savedroid application? And should I tell you what? I didn't need to convince my friend. They're already using it. No, of course, that's not the answer which you wanted to hear right now. I know, I'm just kidding. So I think here the storyline is very easy, right? If you are now using the product already, I do hope you've experienced two things. The first one is, savedroid is actually the easiest way to enter the crypto world. There is no application being more easy for you, not being the tech nerd, in order to get hold of cryptocurrencies by just simply connecting your credit card, having a mobile app always accessible in your pocket, and then seeing your daily balance grow. Point number one, I think very, very simple to bring across. And the second one, the app is smart, right? There is an AI behind it. There is, and even you can tell about our Professor Danko, who is working with his data science team on this one. So we have developed an algorithm which consistently offers you a lower volatility for your investments, right? So you can basically get crypto very easily, and at the same time you can get crypto with less volatility. So it's not going up and down like crazy, but it's more smoothly moving forward. And I think these are two arguments which are very important. Very easy access, and at the same time higher level of security because of less volatility by a smart AI empowering the application. If you can transport this message, I think it should be easy to convince your good friends. And I was also successful using this message to convince my best friend, of course. So therefore, try it out, and also happy to provide your feedback. If it shouldn't work, please let us know what your friends didn't like. And I think this would be also helpful in order to improve our marketing message going forward. Feedback is always welcome and highly appreciated. Thanks so much. So that's already, I'm having one eye on the watch. I think we are now slowly coming towards the end of this AMA. This shall not be the only one. Right? Not be the only AMA session. What we are planning from here, and that's going to be a new format to engage more closely with the community, is AMAs on a regular basis, but it will not only be me sitting in front of the camera. That would be boring, right? You guys would be getting bored by me. So therefore, we want to give our team members an opportunity. It will be different team members from different departments, which will sit here in front of the camera, which will answer your questions, and that will enable you to get a much deeper insight inside savedroid and to really see who's working on what, whom do we have on board, instead of just looking at the pictures on our website. So stay tuned for this one. We will announce it on all our social media channels. If you're not yet following, please register as a follower so that you can easily follow the updates regarding new AMA sessions, new features of the application. And for me, the last thing I can say, thanks a lot for joining us today. It has been a pleasure to be here to answer your questions. Again, thanks so much for your support. And the last but not least thing I want to say, and like, haters gonna hate. I don't have any negative feelings with that. Essentially, I'm being even more motivated by that in order to show that we are successful and that we will be even more successful in the futures. So if you're a hater, keep hating, I don't mind. But if you're a fan, please keep loving and please keep supporting us. And I'm very grateful for both, actually, because both, if you're a lover or a hater, you're dedicating a significant amount of your lifetime to this project. And again, this is the highest level of a compliment one can receive. Therefore, I'm truly and fully grateful for your support. Thanks so much, guys, and have a good and sunny day, and see you soon. Bye-bye.